And we are back with Terra Nullius side stories. So we are here, and we have Gefaldlar, Gefeldlar. When you don't have vowels, it's impossible to know.
It's really easy. It's Gefeldlar, Dingram, Carlifuus, Porkeldorth.
Oh, I guess I didn't get the last part of that name in the overlay. I just because it cuts off in the in the Roll20. Yeah, I just have it as Corkle.
In my mind, I think that in between each consonant, there's just two O's. Go flu do
Go follow dolo
do nu guru coral lu poos.
Oh my.
I honestly did try and pick it so that you could guess what the vowels were supposed to be without actually
Lots of O's.
Anyway, so we return from the commercial break, and we see everybody in front of the Red Mistress's pavilion there.
Where is that?
So
Just
let me
the front.
That's not where I am.
right here. I'll drag you over.
I think I already grabbed
Yes,
me.
please.
Or not.
I'll drag you over.
Okay, because I can't do anything apparently. There we go.
Oops. And then I'll drag you over to Lainani. I like that name, by the way.
Thank you, I do too.
You're welcome. And then Dwala with all its people. So the whole entourage is here, right? So everybody brought their like full entourage. And they're all like gathered around to like see the Red Mistress like take out whatever this thing is.
Is Dwala paying attention to that, or is he paying attention to me?
He's definitely paying attention to you. Yeah.
Excellent.
He's like trying to pay attention to the Red Mistress, and he keeps like glancing over at Rosemary.
I keep like kind of glancing over at him.
And now we are suddenly in junior high youth group. Oh dear.
Oh boy.
Or an anime.
Or an anime.
I'm the
Yeah.
only one trying to help us here.
I'm here to help when things go wrong.
I'm trying to prevent things going wrong.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah, Gefaldler is just gonna like wait until something goes wrong, and then start doing things.
I did some investigation. It's true.
It's true. So, the Red Mistress, she's standing right like on that pavilion there, on that like little ledge. She's looking out over everybody else, and she like just like sizing everybody up, right? Like she looks like she's just staring at everyone, just like one at a time. Like,
when she looks at me, I go.
And she kind of quirks a little bit of a little smirk. And she kind of like gets through staring at like what it seems like everyone individually. And then she says, "My guards have informed me that someone attempted to break into a room in my palace. Would whoever the culprit is like to come forward and throw themselves on my mercy?" Everyone just kind of like looks around at each other.
Yep.
I see. What a shame. You will find that leaving out important information will have consequences. But no matter, you came for an auction, and so an auction is what you will get. And she walks over to the fountain, and she grabs the stone carved staff that was sitting on the fat man's lap in the statue. And so first she like puts on like a black glove is what she does first. like very carefully puts on like one black glove, and then she goes over and she grabs the stone like statue staff, like this carved staff, and then suddenly it's like the stone just like crumbles away, and it's just like this sleek black wooden staff, and she tugs it free, and the man, like the statue, seems to like let go of it kind of, and she kind of like holds it up, and she says, does anyone know what this is?
What kind of check?
I just say, well, it was a fountain a second ago.
Yeah, what kind of check should
Religion,
it?
history, or arcana are all relevant here. They'll give you different information, but
I'll roll Arcana. Nope.
you don't know.
I'll try
12.
Arcana.
Oh, mine's actually I rolled a natural 20, which went to a 19
Oh.
because I have -1, but I have Jack of all trades, which goes back to 20.
I also rolled a nat 20.
Oh, man, yeah.
Oh, and different things. Excellent.
Interesting. Okay, cool. So let me find my notes. So the first thing, Rosamie,
How's
that
it-
you remember, is that, I mean, you recognize now that you're thinking about it, like the statue and the significance of the staff. Like, you think about it again, and like you look at the statue again, you're like, wait a second, no, I should have remembered that guy. And there's like a bunch, there's like literally millions of gods, like 300 million gods in the Hindu pantheon, so like it's hard to keep them all in order. But you remember that that must have been the god Yama. And this god is the god of the underworld. Or as it's called in Hindu mythology, Naraka. And so in the stories, right? Yama uses a staff called Kaladanda, the staff of death. Which is supposedly like the ultimate weapon. Like, once fired, it would kill anybody. Like, you hit someone with it, they die. Like, nothing, no matter what they had to protect them, they're gonna die.
An infinity stone.
Yeah, well, it's a staff that kills anyone. It doesn't kill the whole universe. But yeah, so the staff is called Kaladanda.
Half of the whole universe.
No, yeah.
So I just kind of, after I say, it was a fountain, and then I look at it again and I go, wait, that's the Kaladanda.
Kaladanda.
The Kaladanda. It's. And I just kind of whisper, the staff of death. With like wide eyes.
Yeah, so
Do I know anything different about it?
so that's the thing, right? You not only got a higher score, but also on a different thing. So like you can I think with like Rosamie's like what she just said there, and like specifying that religious iconography, Gefeldlar, you basically you think about this and you're like, okay, yeah, this must literally be like the staff of death, like the death god in this culture must have made this staff in times gone by, and it got lost somewhere and someone found it, and yeah, it like you can confirm that it like, so where someone else might be skeptical about like whether or not it can actually like kill anybody, you know, with that 26 Arcana, oh yeah, she's not like, she is not exaggerating in the slightest. This, you touch it, you die. Like that's how dangerous this thing is. And so you notice now that's why the lady like had to put the black glove on before she touched it.
I turned to oh wait, I'm forgetting names. I turned to Leilani and I'm like, we may have gotten in for more than we bargained for.
I message back, why? What is it? Just a staff.
I interject message and I say, the staff of death.
Anything that touches it dies.
Yeah, and so the Red Mistress like smiles because she obviously heard you, even though you guys were like whispering to each other, and she says, "Yes, Our gnomish friends are quite correct. This is Kaladanda, the staff of death. And like all the people start like whispering amongst each other, like, "Oh my gosh, what is this? What? This is crazy!" Like kind of a thing.
I want to play an ominous flute trill.
Woo!
No, just like.
Oh, right. Yeah, sure.
I almost did Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and that's the wrong context.
No, just ominous flute, like.
Yeah.
And then I just like put it away.
Yeah, Dwala like does a little clap. Yeah, and I think that everybody's talking amongst each other, and the Red Mistress says, "And now, I will leave you once more to think through what you are willing to offer. I expect that within the next hour, each of you will approach me separately and tell me what you are willing to give in exchange for the Staff of Death. The offer I find the most acceptable, I will say yes to."
I want to go over to Dwala.
350.
I want to go over to him
Okay.
and just be like, "Do you know what that is?"
Well, she just said it's the Staff of Death, the Kaladanda.
Joel, it's really dangerous.
I know, and he has a wicked grin on his face.
And I just kind of go, Joel, I
Think-
don't want you to get hurt by it.
Think of what I could do with it, Rosemi.
I
The
know,
lands
but-
I could conquer.
But think, if you just touch it, you would die. I don't want you to die.
I can live with gloves the rest of my life if it means world domination, Rosemi.
I'm just worried that even if it's in your presence all the time, it doesn't even have to touch your hands, just any part of you.
Then I will remain covered. I can sweat. It's fine.
Okay. And then I just kind of like walk off.
Mm-hmm. Like his eyes, like you can see the look on his face. He's hungry for this thing. He's like, yes, like I have to have this thing. Like you see the eyes of a ravenous predator that has seen its prey.
Wait. Okay, no, never mind. I come back and I say, I tried to convince him that it's too dangerous for him to have, that he would get hurt, and I didn't want him hurt, and he's not really interested. I can suggest to one more person today. Should I try and do him? Because I think there's no way it's going to work on the Red Mistress.
And so what happens is Kalyani, like, so Jawala's and his band is like starting to like move away to like discuss, right, like what their offer would be, because like the assumption is, right, like everybody's gonna kind of go to their own places again, make it like do deals and things, like talk about what they should do, and then come back and then like offer their deals separately, right, like secretly. But Kalyani just steps up, comes in front of everybody, raises her hand, and she says, "My master can make you a god." And that's like her offer. The Red Mistress just looks at her like complete stone face, just like, interesting. Everybody heard it.
Yeah, so question for you. Did our patron, did our person give us any kind of gold or anything to like bargain with for this item, or is she just assuming that we're gonna steal this thing?
I think she gave you like a collection of, let's see, I'm curious. What would she have given you? Does anyone have any ideas of like a thing that might have like
Be worth a death stick?
been an offer? Yeah.
Death stick.
Not much.
That's what we need. We need forced suggestion.
No, oh my gosh, you don't want to buy the death stick. Oh, wow.
You do not want to buy a death stick.
Yeah.
You want to go home and rethink your life.
Perfect.
Yeah, were we given anything at all to barter with?
So I think the assumption was that you were just gonna steal it, but I think she did give you something. Like I think it was basically like, okay, you probably aren't gonna be able to actually auction for this thing, but on the off chance that like these people are actually just dumb and don't actually like have good offers, here's a thing that you could technically like offer, but I'm not entirely sure what that might be, offhand. So I'm looking up.
All I'm thinking of now is Midsummer Night's Dream.
I know, right? I'm trying to think if there's anything in that in Midnight Summers.
The slave boy is what.
Right, that's the only thing that's coming to my mind too. Yeah.
Can I want to make like some kind of insight check to see like if the Red Mistress. Do I know if she's evil or not?
You would certainly make a check to try to discern something about her. Make that history check.
Great. Why do I have to roll history? I'm rolling history all night long.
I mean,
You
so
could just ask me.
yeah, you could ask one of the other companions to do it, and then help them with it, right? And get advantage.
I also found out she was kind of evil. I can tell you all the information I heard from Jwala that nobody cared about because I was just off doing my own thing, and you guys were off trying to break in a room, and I was actually helping.
All right. So I just go and I'm like, I just message both of you and I just say like, does this woman appear evil to you?
Actually, before that happens, when the one lady comes up as saying, "My patron can make you a god," can I roll a religion check to see if I know what she's talking about?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
17.
I mean, there's precedent, obviously, in all sorts of mythologies for becoming a god. But there's no process that you can think of. I mean, you can make an Arcana check, I guess, to like know about some sort of way that a human could very easily become a god, like a mortal could.
Nope.
No, yeah, you
That
have
sounds
no idea.
ridiculous.
Also,
It does sound
Caleb,
ridiculous to you.
Caleb, just FYI, the way that I'm telling when my charm is gonna last is my unseen servant's gonna drop the sword before the charm ends.
Okay.
So I'll know. So
Got it.
just
Right.
FYI.
Yeah.
If you could narrate whenever the sword drops, then
Yeah,
I'll
sure,
know when to
sure.
get away from
Yeah.
Jwala.
That's a good
Sword
narrative device
drops
anyway.
and the bomb drops.
Yeah. The sword drops and then the sword is drawn.
Yep. Okay, I would like to kind of like step away a little and message the maiden that I chatted with before,
sure.
and go, is there anything that the Red Mistress really wants?
You don't sound very prepared, young one.
I mean, and I messaged back and go, I mean, I'm not. I'm just along for the ride. I was just wondering. She seems like she'd be a good friend to have.
I mean, I think that's honestly maybe what you guys brought as an offer was like a servant provided by your patron, similar to the slave boy in Midsummer Night's Dream. I think it's something along those lines, right? Like my patron will like give you an everlasting servant that will serve your every needs.
Wait. Yeah. Was this lady a servant of? Who was the servant of Oberon that was here?
Kalyani, the one who just said, "I can make you a god."
Oh, never mind.
I just go.
I'm just wondering if shouting out certain information would make this woman change her mind.
Mm-hmm. Right. So when Kalyani shouted that, right, like the message just like looks at her like really nonchalantly and just like I think the handmaiden like probably said like your offer has been noted. Right. Like they're really stone faced about it.
I just say back to them. I message Mistress again. Does she want to be a god? I mean, that seems like a lot of like responsibility.
It's a lot of paperwork.
Does she say anything back to me?
No, I don't think so.
I message again. Okay, good talk. Thanks.
Bargain well, young one.
She said something back. We're friends.
Yeah.
I messaged Jwala. What are you gonna give?
Yeah, I think he says, make a persuasion check.
I'm guessing, would this have advantage because he's charmed?
Sure, yeah.
17.
Yeah, he seems like sly about it. He's like, you'll see soon enough. I have a special gift to offer the Red Mistress.
17 wasn't even high enough?
No.
Trying to think of how we can spice up the offer.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna go for it. So basically, as soon as like, what's her face shouts out, "I can make you a god," I go, by murdering 15 children.
Yep.
What? Why are we talking about murdering children?
Yeah, Kalyani stares at you. Her eyes lock onto yours. And she says,
Oh!
what did you say?
Oh, nothing. Just a bit of information I've heard around the block, you know.
Around the block? What an interesting idiom. Yeah, I think she stalks over to you. And she says, all right, you wench. Spill it.
Uh-oh.
Oh, dear God. I really don't want my character to die, but this is totally what my character would do.
I would like to cast minor illusion and make a drum roll before.
I mean, she hates this woman so much that she wants to just attack her. Is what she wants to do.
Oh my.
That's like literally like what she wants to do right now.
Oh,
I'll click my token so when we can get ready to roll this.
Man, okay. I mean, that's definitely a thing that could happen here.
So yeah, I think I just like no. So I like take a deep breath and I just go, your patron, Lord Oberon, he tried to ascend to godhood himself, did he not? But
I do not know what you're talking about.
Failed, didn't he? So if he failed, what makes you think that he could make her a god?
Who are you?
I cast minor illusion again, and I go, and in a loud voice, me and the illusion both say, Oberon failed.
Yeah. So I think like Kalyani leans in really closely, hand on her rapier, like just on the hilt, right? Leans in really closely, and she says, "You're one of Titania's, aren't you? I should have figured. You're not a gnome, are you?"
Did she roll an investigation check?
Nope. But she got that information another way.
That's really rude to ask.
It was foreshadowed.
I know. I caught it.
Uh-huh. I figured you did.
Was it the ritual she was doing or the spell or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
No, she said you looked familiar. Well, she said you looked familiar.
Yeah, and there was that too, yeah.
You can't just ask people if they're a gnome or not.
I just love how there's like.
Are you actually black?
And then just like.
Karen, you can't just ask
this
people
person
why
in
they're
the
white.
back just like
Yeah.
echoing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, she says, I can see that you want to try something. Why don't you do it? Make a scene.
Really wish there was a door right now.
I just say, you don't know anything about me, and if you want to make a scene, you will have to act first. I am simply debunking your offer. Good day.
She spins on her heel and just like walks away.
Should I try and charm her? I don't think it'll work, but should I try? She already hates us anyway.
Oh, you mean the red,
No. That girl who was just so mean.
Kalyani.
Yeah.
Oh.
Might need to use that against the other guy eventually.
Probably need to use it again.
I mean, I don't know what charming her what good that would do.
I don't know either. I'm just trying to be helpful, you guys.
So anyways,
so Jwala steps up to the Red Mistress and like whispers in her ear like whatever it is that his offer is going to be, and then like steps back. So now it's just you guys.
Did her face move at all when he whispered?
No.
A quick question: did any of them seem to like note anything when I pointed out the fact that Oberon is like lying about making her a god?
I think the Darklings were all looking like pretty dark faced, like oh no, like frowning and stuff. And then the handmaidens looked kind of interested, or like ooh, scandal, like ooh, which one of these is true, sort of a thing. But the Red Mistress is pretty straight faced. Yeah.
Basically, the only thing that's made her change her expression is my flute playing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so good.
I just messaged them like, well, guys.
The only thing I can think of, which is a bit metagamey, the only thing I can think of is offering power over Oberon, but even I don't know, like, because Titania is obviously they butt heads, and like I don't know if that would be very helpful to this lady though. It doesn't help that we don't know what the other guy offered.
Power
you could also lie.
It's true.
It's true. Could do that. I have pretty good deception.
You are pretty good at lying. Yeah.
I'd not.
Like we could definitely say that you have a lie set up, right? Like a thing to give her that it's not what it seems to be, right? I'm totally okay with that being a thing.
I will give you a giant horse that will wheel into your.
What are some like cool magical? What are like some cool? What's like a cool magical item that we could give in exchange for this death thing?
I don't know. Where would you have?
Spider climbing.
Like what's something that Titania would have?
Right. That's what
Let me look. Let's
Rod of rulership. You could claim
something along those lines. Yeah, that could be interesting.
Or what about? Let's see.
You could also try to do like a check or something to try to figure out what the Red Mistress might want.
What would that
what
be?
kind of check could I make?
You could probably make a history check or an insight check. The insight would be incredibly difficult, but
I think I can do a history check.
yeah, I think history is probably the best bet.
Oh, 22.
22. Okay. So you haven't actually done any like scrutinization of this woman, have you?
Nope, I hadn't really seen her much.
Okay, so you know a few things about the Red Mistress, and you've probably known it since the beginning, but haven't maybe shared it with everybody else yet. Let me dig this up. So the Red Mistress is part of an organization called the Blood Sisters.
Oh, spooky.
Ooh.
They're like a group of multinational, honestly, like powerful women who like are trying to manipulate a bunch of things behind the scenes. They're usually magic users of some report, and you have been. I think you have been, Gafaldler. You've been following like the Blood Sisters, like, and what they've been doing for a little while now. I think
evil.
They're definitely evil, very very evil.
Darn.
I mean, maybe it depends on what your definition of evil is, I guess. Like, they're very power hungry. Like, I guess they maybe range from, like, neutral to evil, like, depending on which blood sister you're talking to, but they're all very, like, power hungry. And so, yeah, I think you know that the thing that the Red Mistress probably wants more than anything is the proper sacrifice. Someone that she could sacrifice for a blood ritual of some sort. Important people. The more important the person, the better. And so that kind of maybe goes back to the whole Titania slave person somebody. Thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm seeing her as I turn to the other side. I say, "Follow me," and we like go to a separate room.
Sure.
And doing that, I kind of explained to him that I'm trying not to use my voice so much, so I don't want to.
Yeah.
But and I kind of describe like what we need to do and like how we need to gussy up this slave to make him look.
And
like
I say, look, I know I'm a really good musician and I'm really important, but I'm not willing to give my life for this.
Not you.
Oh my gosh, I was really worried. Okay. Whew.
So he I'm looking over a list of things I can do. Nope. Okay, that won't help. Yeah. So we just gussy up this slave, so we can give it to her as a sacrifice.
Is the slave with us?
So that would be the question, right? Has there actually just been a slave with you the whole time?
Well, that's actually something because we didn't know that this was going to be the thing we got here. So I mean,
we could say that. I mean, I don't think anything has happened enough to like say that would be weird that you wouldn't have had a slave with you the whole time. You just probably like right when you got here, you put him in a room somewhere and like locked him up, right?
Okay, here's my question. So you say I've been following them.
You can take that as much as you want. I was just giving you an offer, as in like you can maybe like if your character's interested in.
Well,
like
here's my question. My main question is like you're saying like all these things that the Blood Sisters have been doing and everything. Do I know that the Blood Sisters have been trying to do this more privately than I know?
Oh no, yeah, no, for sure. Like you're one of the people, maybe one of the only people who knows about them
Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to do two things. Okay, and I want to do two. So when we finally get the slave ready and everything, I go up to her and Leilani, what was it? Leilani?
Leinani.
I give Leinani the slave to offer up, and I pull some papers out of my bag.
Ooh.
I was say, are you gonna make the offer?
I'm going to make an addition to the offer. You offer the slave.
Okay, should I do this discreetly, or should I just say we're offering you this slave in front of them?
Well, tell her that what everything was, the reason being why and everything, but like, don't like yell it like the other person did. That was stupid.
I mean, I could just message her.
Yeah,
that's true.
So what's the lie? Who are you telling us? Who is this person in reality, and who are you pretending that the person is?
Honestly, we probably could, if it was Titania, we probably could actually get someone important.
Possibly, yeah. It just depends on what your plan was, right? Was your plan to actually give them someone, or was it to steal or lie or cheat?
I feel like Titania would try and do whatever possible to keep this out of Oberon's hands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I feel like she would give an actual like pretty important person.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
And just be like, also, if you don't actually get it, do whatever you can to get it after the auction.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So one of you make a history check to see if you guys know who this person is and how important they are. Titania knows.
I feel like that should be Goobity Beep.
Oh, but 11.
Yeah, no, you don't know.
I was gonna say she wouldn't have told me.
Unless you asked specifically.
Yes, I wouldn't have
Right?
been-
She was probably just like, hey, here's an important person. Like, here's a slave. She probably would have just told you, here's a slave to offer her.
Okay. That makes sense. I don't think my character would have asked too many questions.
Mm-hmm.
I probably, if I knew we had a slave, I probably would have just been talking to him the whole time.
Make a history check. Yeah.
Because I'm like, if we had another person with me, I would have just been talking to him. It doesn't really matter who it was.
Mm-hmm.
As I've shown with my character, I talk to everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. 6.
No, none of you know who this person is.
No. You wouldn't have just told me.
No.
We're kind of carrying him off possibly to his death.
Yeah, no, he was very cooperative.
So anyway, I have a different offer for her, but go ahead and offer. I'm gonna leave that as a surprise.
Right. So Leinani sends a message. So what does she say? How does she offer this person?
Well, okay, so your character set told me that that's what she wants. Is she wants a blood sacrifice, or did you leave that part out?
I told you all that. There's no reason for me not to tell you that.
Okay, so I think I messaged her. We offer you this slave whose blood will suffice for your needs.
Yeah.
It's good.
So she locks eyes with you, Leinani, and she raises one eyebrow. And that is
I'm next to her, and I'm trying to figure out how to raise one eyebrow.
After she makes,
I don't know how to do.
Yeah.
My character doesn't know how to do it. I know how to do it.
Yeah.
After she makes,
there are people who can't do it.
After she makes the offer, I walk up, take the stack of papers, and plop them down in front of her.
On the ground?
Well, actually, no. I probably hand it to Is there one mistress of hers that looks like the head?
Yeah, there's 2 handmaidens next to her. You can just hand it to one of them. Yeah.
Hand it to one of them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. She looks at them.
Is it the one that I've been talking to?
Yeah, I think so.
Sure, I guess.
I message her and I go, "Isn't that really good? I think she'll like it."
So what is it?
Does she ask? That's what I'm waiting for her to ask.
Well, I don't know what she's looking at right now.
She's looking at a stack of papers with just pretty much with everything that you've told me.
Oh, with
a stack of paper.
A bunch of information on anything that Gefelder knows
about the Blood Sisters.
Oh, about the Blood Sisters. Okay.
Yes, everything he knows about her is
Okay, now she's just gonna kill him.
No. Because here's what I say. Okay. I was like,
okay.
So
when she
asked what I said, this is the list of everything I've been able to gather on you. I can show you how to better cover your tracks, so you will not be found out by anyone else.
Make a So what needs to happen here is Leinani and one of you needs to make a persuasion check, and the other one is going to give the other person advantage.
What do you have for persuasion?
I have -1.
Okay, then
come on. Too bad I wasn't doing it. I have a +6.
I have a +5, so should probably let me do it with advantage, even though I haven't been rolling very well all night. Maybe this will be
fine if you had advantage on some of the stuff.
That's true. So, what do you think? Should I roll, Seth?
Yes, I have a -1. There's statistically speaking, you're gonna have a better chance of doing this.
Jesus, Dragonborn Jesus, help me! Oh my God, are you serious right now?
14 isn't awful.
I mean, it's adequate, but
So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna roll for the other peeps.
Oh no!
Oh God, this isn't just not good.
Okay. So when you're rolling for them,
all right, we got an 8.
Probably gonna use some.
Oh,
she doesn't have advantage.
I was gonna say, does the woman have disadvantage since I debunked her?
No, she doesn't. She doesn't have advantage though either. So she got an 8.
Okay, and then is this the other guy?
And Joala is gonna roll next.
Wait.
Because if it's higher than a 14, I'm gonna cutting words it.
Thank you.
Because I'm a bard.
Isn't that a great
It's a
feature to
6.
have?
Oh, it's fine. He got a 6.
See, you guys won with a 14. None of you were actually very convincing, but the other people were worse at it.
She's just like,
So this is what happens. So the tension of the like negotiating and stuff, right, fades, or no, it reaches its crescendo, right? And the red mistress like puts a hand up, right, like as if like, okay, now I'm gonna decide, and everybody like goes silent. Everybody's just like waiting intensely.
Right before she did that, could I have played on flute like the Phantom of the do 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 on my flute, and then
Sure.
when she raised the hand up, okay,
Yeah.
excellent.
And she says, "The offer that I have chosen for Kaladanda, the Staff of Death, is the Islander entourage."
Yeah.
And like there's a moment where like everyone's like, wait, what? And the red mistress says like, "They have offered me something that is very, very useful. You may come claim the staff, Leinani. The rest of you are dismissed."
I don't think I have gloves.
I can
I
give
have a
you.
disguise kit that I probably have gloves in too.
Yeah, there you go.
Do we have a bag or something? A very, very secure bag. This is where we could use Yi in her bag of holding.
Right.
So
She doesn't have a bag of holding. She has a bag. Excuse me.
there's like dead silence among everybody else. Like everybody else is like, what? Like, and there's like 10. You guys can like, you could, if the tension was butter, it is thick as heck. Like it is, yeah.
Thick as heck.
I didn't know how to end that
Yeah, I was gonna say,
metaphor.
It is thick with 2 C's.
Yo, no.
No,
No.
No,
Don't
there's so many
sexualize
things-
butter. Don't sexualize butter.
There's so many things wrong with that.
So many things. Let's move on, please.
Oh gosh. Okay. Yeah. So I asked for a pair of gloves.
So you say that. You say, like, "Can I have a pair of gloves?" And that is when Rosamie's sword drops to the ground.
Oh, cool. And it cuts the tension.
Perfect. There you go. And that is where all heck breaks loose.
There's still like another 2 minutes.
Another
before
2
heck
minutes?
breaks. Yeah, because I
Right.
had the
Okay, I just want to
servant,
make sure.
and then
Yeah,
I
yeah.
gotta come in.
So it
Okay,
falls,
and
right?
So I go, hey guys, can we go do this in a private room? I feel unsafe around all these people now that we've won. I say that to the mistress.
Okay. She nods slowly and she says, "Of course. The rest of the groups will be leaving now." And so some orcs like come over, right, to like start leading them away. And I think that both of them are just like, I think Jawala like is like frowning, and he's like, "No, wait." And he's like looking over you in confusion, Rosamie, like I'm glad I'm like really confused here because I'm glad that you got it, but I wanted it. Like I'm confused. And like and then Kalyani, her face is just red, and like with anger and embarrassment, and like I think like she yells out, "I offered you godhood!" And like the Red Mistress isn't even paying attention. She's just like looking at you, Nani, like waiting for you to like come forward, right?
Yeah. No, I go forward.
And I just say, thank you
they're
for being so
escorted.
accommodating.
Sure. So I'm trying to think of how this goes down. So
Yeah, no, I definitely want to get the gloves on and grab that staff like right away. Well, I guess I bring up the slave with me, and I.
Be
Okay.
careful not to touch him with the staff.
yeah. So I think like you bring the slave up, right, and the slave is right there, and you're just about to grab the staff, and let's go to our break. So we will be right back with more Terra Nullius right after this. Stick around.